People, deluded, I'm back again. I hope everyone smashed the like button. I hope you're subscribed, and better than that, I hope everyone's doing well and safe on this Tuesday evening. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. Now, we're that much closer to Arsenal versus Fulham against Arsenal, and there's a Premier League starting again. This international break has been a madness. Max Dowman has scored for England's under-19s in their 7-0 victory. I think he's the youngest goal scorer at that record, and I couldn't tell you who, but I think the tabloid said he took some Spurs players' record, so that's always great. Martinelli played up front and scored and played 58 minutes for Brazil after they were leading 2-0 and then lost 3-2 to Japan. Semenyo has come out. He's got a release clause. I'm a big fan of his. Apparently there's been an update on Martin Odegaard and when he could potentially return in November. As we know, he's suffered another injury, this time to his knee, and he faces a lengthy sit down. Now, make sure your notification bells are on, people, purely because I'm after gym today, I've kind of been working on an article or better yet, a video around Martin Odegaard, Eze, Wanyeri, just a bit of fun, people. So big up yourselves. And you know what? The craziest thing of this international break or even this period, I know you lot have seen the Jadon Sancho stuff. Like, my word, man. Listen, keep it in your pants. Decision-making on the field is horrible. Decision-making off the field. And at 25 with, people can say you ain't hit your potential and all of this, but you're getting 300 grand a week. You're technically employed by Manchester United, the biggest club in the land. You're playing in the Premier League. You've got everything going for you, man. Just decision-making. It is funny, though. I shouldn't laugh, but it is funny. Every day he's getting drawn out by some other woman. Again, big up the women out there, but it's treacherous for the footballers, man. It's treacherous, man. Big up the Indians, man. Very rarely see India in the building. Abinash, forgive me for mispronunciation, man. Big up yourself. Good night from India. What's the time zone saying there, Rob? You're getting player of the month, subscriber of the month, man, because you're always here. Rob, appreciate you. As the man has said, smash the like button. I almost forgot, yeah. I wanted to have a bit of fun now. Obviously, with the international break, everybody's kind of been talking about like their hot takes surrounding Arsenal, and I'm actually trying to include that in the video. So if you haven't gone to the YouTube community tab, make sure you're checking out my YouTube community tab. I ask you a lot of questions. I keep you a lot up to date with stuff. Go and drop some in. And on the topic of Q&A, I'm trying to get that out for you Thursday, Friday. The quicker you don't get the questions in, people have been emailing. That's one way to go around it. But yeah, comment and all those things. 9:50. Fair enough. You lot in front of us, man. What part of India are you from? But yeah, obviously, hot takes, and everybody seems to have a hot take, and it's just a bit of fun. I'll try to write down some hot takes of my own regarding our football club, people. I've titled it early season hot takes. Let me scroll to the bottom. Now, apologies if I hurt any feelings, people, but like I said, these are my hot takes and unpopular opinions type of thing. I think first thing I'm going with is Ethan Wanyeri needs more minutes, but fans are doing too much. That's the first one. I think he should be blooded, but I think fans need to realize he's young and, we're trying to win a title. You need to decide what you want to do. Take nothing away from Ethan, people. And I would actually say again, some of our fans who talk about standards actually chat a lot of shit. It just sounds good because idiots have a circus. That's one thing. And then on that, I do think a section of our fan base, and I've got it here, certified losers. They're happy with being second, and thank the Lord, I've actually got it that I don't think anyone connected to the club or the playing staff and Arteta are singing from that hymn sheet. Unfortunately, winning isn't everything. Sport teaches you everything. You learn in life, let alone sport. You learn more in defeat than victory. But at the same time, there is an element of sink or swim. We're all here because we won. When our parents, whether your dad or your mom or whatever, when they birds and the bees, we beat thousands of other sperms to come in. So life, unfortunately, is about winning, essentially, to a degree, sink or swim. And I think some of our fans are glorified losers in that regard. I do think, I don't know where I was going with this, but Norgard has to leave for another centre mid to come in my opinion, or Marino or Kai Havertz. I don't think Miles Lewis-Skelly will get centre mid chances this season, which I wish it was a case. I think Timber's the best right back in the league, and where the world's concerned in terms of the package, only Hakimi could talk to him. So indirectly, he's the best in the world. I think we've got the best squad in the league / the world right now. I think we've got the best right winger in Bukayo Saka, and I think we have the best centre mid in Declan Rice, people. Eze and Madueke are doing great, and they're two new additions, but I think they need to score more. And I've also got here, thank the Lord Martinelli and Trossard weren't sold, because I wanted the best of both worlds. I understand everybody's got a price and things of that ilk, but I wanted to keep both of them and actually bring in a left winger. And that's another hot take as well. It would have been a 10 out of 10 summer if we signed the left winger. I still think that's a massive hole, if I'm honest with you. Yeah, we can, Eze and Madueke weren't here last season. They can do a job there. Martinelli and Trossard are finding their form. And, a fit Jesus, I don't know what that presents people, but there's a bunch of people who can play left wing. There's not really someone that you bet your hat on for 30, 38 games. You'd rather Eze probably be my first choice, but you probably want him in the 10. A fit Gabriel Jesus, I think you could do a thing in that regards. He probably won't be here next season. I do think Kai Havertz and Odegaard, due to their wages and other people taking chances, it's not that they need to be sold, but the club might look at it from a finance point of view and say, yeah, we need to let you lot go. I've also said if Gyökeres, this is another one. If Gyökeres don't work, I want another striker next season. That doesn't mean sell Gyökeres and all of this. Just sign me an upgrade. Gyökeres, you're part of the squad. And I'd also say, yeah, I can't understand the revision around Kai Havertz, and I've got it here. I think Arsenal fan base, every Arsenal fan is a liar regarding Kai Havertz. Some do this crazy revision that Gyökeres is such a step down from him and he's this mythical creature and all of these things. Some fans do too much and scapegoat Kai Havertz. The truth is in the middle. Shouldn't have bought you for that wage. Shouldn't have put you on that contract. Failed upwards. The centre mid experience didn't work. Experiment didn't work. We're doing something with you up front. But for me, all of the struggles around Gyökeres, I prefer that to Hazard up front. Havertz, apologies, up front, because when the crunch time is on, Gyökeres will bag. It is what it is, people. I've also got, it's Arteta's fault if we don't win a trophy this season. I've already said it already. We fumbled not signing a left winger and it may cost us. I still don't think we know what this Arsenal team is about. We know obviously we're good defensive and all that jazz, but in terms of this season, I think we still don't know in all aspects what our team is about. I've also got Marino and Kai Havertz are more important than some sections of our fan base believe. Gabriel Jesus has a role to play this season. Wanyeri will get his opportunities. And last but certainly not least, Zubimendi is better than Thomas Partey. So yeah, they're my hot takes. I should have, I did them as I was sitting here waiting for you lot, people. So I thought, let's have a bit of fun. So yeah, any hot takes, get them in. Let me make a timestamp of that. Actually, let's go with that. Hot takes. Let's slap that there. So yeah, man, good little icebreaker, man. I wouldn't pay the reported 100 million for Semenyo. Perhaps I'm being snobbish. I wouldn't as well, my guy. But at the same time, yeah, I always sit here and think, like, do we just have to accept what transfer fees and players are worth? Like, we're long gone from that, really and truly, and it's not our money. 75, 100 million for Semenyo, I think it's a bit crazy. But then when you look at it, he's 25, probably the best performing player in the Premier League, give or take, with Haaland at the moment. Had a good season last year. Bournemouth obviously got stronger cash reserves because they've sold a bunch of other players. Premier League, all the clubs kind of have money, give or take. You're more reliant on Semenyo wanting to leave, sign the new deal and things like that. So they're within their rights, especially if you're going to try and buy him in January, which I think is an absolute myth. For me, I'm trying to do that for 60 odd million quid. I know swap deals really happen, but you must can throw Reece Nelson, give or take, or something in there, man, if I'm honest with you. Or wild take. If again, God forbid, but if Wanyeri ever has to go on loan, Bournemouth, have him for a year, man, is what it is. They're talking 100 million for Semenyo. Apparently, he's got a release clause. We'll get into that, man. Zubimendi been better than Partey at me. Bro, Zubimendi, that's my hot take. He's better than him. He's definitely, he's definitely better than the Thomas Partey of 2025 and 2024. Of course, there's some qualities others don't have. I don't even agree with when people say Partey is more physical than Zubimendi. Yeah, Partey probably benches a bit more, probably a lot harder to barge off the ball, but I think one of the biggest myths around Zubimendi, and I don't know what it is that he's not a physical man. Like I said, he's not doing Roy Keane and Vieira and flying into tackles and things. But for someone that looks about 6'5", 11, he's good in the air, puts himself around physically, does the interceptions thing. He's a thinkers man's footballer. I think he's better than Partey, but he's got to have to show us, boy. He's got to make us look like, because right now we look crazy, innit? We kind of do look crazy, man. Not convinced by Semenyo, just me though. I'll take a punt, man. The left wing market's dead. Of course, you give or take January or May, we'll be sat here on this platform. I hope you lot will be talking about some wide options. Unless the scouts are doing their job, who really is there, really? Semenyo's a good option. No doubt the Rodrigo rumors will be circling. Rafa Leao's another one. There's probably a couple other names. Anthony Gordon, like Semenyo, have been name dropped in the Athletic as two players we like the look of. Other than that, the left wing market, to us normal fans, it looks dead. Partey not that physical, defensively solid as people think. Memories have been painted with nostalgia and consistency. How often, yeah, how often did we see like, because that's been my biggest, beyond the obvious, the off-field stuff, which we don't condone, yeah, just purely talking about Thomas Partey from a footballing point of view. There's been two things with Partey for me. The first would be, obviously, when you think of Thomas Partey's time at Arsenal, injuries, there's no way around it. It's synonymous, in it. You know, we've seen 2 seasons really and truly of him being fit, and we did have great years in that. Last season, relatively fit. The first year, Xhaka's last season, relatively fit. Other than that, he's never here. And then for me, he's obviously a good player in it, but you saw a good Thomas Partey a lot of the time. You never saw greatness, if that makes sense. Like, there's a handful of games you can think Thomas Partey absolutely bossed that, if I'm honest with you. And, you know, it probably is a nostalgia. Some people still think Zubimendi isn't an upgrade on Partey. They're going to find out the hard way, but he's going to have to make us not look crazy, in it. Like, again, I hear it, though. I do hear it. And, I mean, Arteta's wish and the club's wish was obviously to keep hold of Thomas Partey and then obviously have Zubimendi, but it didn't pan out, did it, really and truly? Facts. I have several games where Partey lost the ball that led to us conceding a goal, burned into my memory. It's true. You know what? I'm not even onto Partey or any player around that, because that's, as you lot know, that's football, innit? Man, I'm going to lose the ball. Mistakes are going to happen. It is what it is. It's just, when did we see that great Thomas Partey? Like, there's a hand, like, I mean, like, Thomas Partey standout games. How often? For some reason, I'll always remember we played Man United a few years ago. And just because I was sorting out my washing, coincidentally, I mentioned he partnered on in the middle of the park. Yeah, do you remember the game at Old Trafford? On my life, I don't remember if it was Premier League or a cup game or whatever. But we was wearing this kit in it. Let me put this down because that could be worn tomorrow. You know, I've got to sort out my washing after this. That's a game that stands out. You never really saw a great Thomas Partey like that. Never really saw a great Thomas Partey like that. Clearly, Arteta loves him. Would always get him in the team. Anyone that's been to the Emirates, you know, Arteta is very hands-on with his players and always like coaching them through games. Very rarely did that with Partey, but after the game was always hugging him up, heading him up. Obviously, there's been some other players that have had consistent injuries. That rightly so, the gaffer said F that, but he's always had an exception to the rule with Partey, but it was never that. Like, we never ever saw that, really. Zubimendi was showing, man. Partey had no legs left. He used to be so stinky at times, making Rice have to do 3-man's job in the midfield. Again, Zubimendi video coming out tomorrow. Kind of touched on that. I actually feel the club indirectly have let down Declan Rice. Of course, on paper for a point, him and Partey, that was the midfield we wanted to see. But I think since Rice has signed here, he's had to hold too many people's hands in midfield, which is why I do like Wanyeri being utilised there. Eze, what Zubimendi could be, because what Rice and Kai Havertz together, that was dead. Merino, it's mixed success. Partey, 1 minute you're in and then you're out. And I do think Rice, I would love to ask Rice. I think I said this yesterday. I'd love to ask Rice in the back of your head, yeah, you can tell me in the cameras, I believe in my teammates, which I don't doubt. You know, you believe in your teammates, you believe in everyone. Everyone makes mistakes, all of that. But in the back of your mind, especially when you're playing this kind of box-to-box 8 role that Mikel Arteta is telling you to do, yeah? And yeah, we've got good defensive side and not just our defenders, how we defend. But in the back of your mind, how much has it played when you've had to play with Merino, Kai Havertz, Jorginho, who's probably one of his better partners, to be fair, but lacked the legs. When you flew forward, in your head, how much times did you think, oh, you know what? If I get caught high up this field, I'm in trouble, which is why I need this Zubimendi and Rice thing to work, if I'm honest with you. Partey had good games. He's a good player, but people in his fan base have been acting like he was a prime Vieira or something. The difference between Zubimendi calms things down and reads the game better than being physical. True. To be fair, I do think Partey was a good reader of the game. It's just, I need to see Partey's real age, if I'm honest. I don't believe he's 31, 32 or whatever. And honestly, I just think when Partey hit London, it's a lifestyle, man. When you're getting all that money, it's like I said, it's the lifestyle can take you away. Look at Jadon Sancho, the lifestyle, like the absolute lifestyle, people. But yeah, man, some interesting talking points nonetheless. Should we see actually what's going on in the world, people? Arsenal wonder kid Max Dowman breaks decade-old England record. Arsenal wonder kid Max Dowman has become the first 15-year-old to score for England's under-19s after netting in a 7-0 thrashing of Wales on Tuesday. Big him up for that one. There's going to be more to come. Martinelli did score in the 3-2 defeat for Brazil against Japan. Japan came from 2 goals down. You know, they bit off topic, but Tommy Asu still ain't got a club. Now, I'm not going to sit and act like I watched the game. Did see the highlight of the finish. I guess it's one for another video. Do we revisit Martinelli up front? I personally don't think you're going to be exposed to that in a Mikel Arteta system on a consistent basis. But, you know, if it's another tool, another random kind of tool that can help us, you'd be a fool not to go for it. He's been rated as 7 out of 10. He said, and again, there's no authority. This is just someone that is writing articles. They might not know a damn thing about football, but what they said is maybe something of an outsider in Brazil's attacking pecking order. The Arsenal man will be thrilled to have bagged a fine goal after being expertly found by Paqueta. Probably shouldn't have been hooked early. Pressure on Carlo Ancelotti. We need to deliver. Nelly looked good at striker for Brazil, but it's different at Arsenal. This is Brazil's darkest days. Nah, man, the darkest days is obviously what Germany did to them in the World Cup, man. Now it's been testing time for Gyökeres of Sweden, people. Sweden have sacked their manager, John Dow Thomasson, who actually, you know, defended Gyökeres in the build-up to the international break. Sweden are bottom of their 2026 World Cup qualifying group with 1 point from 4 games. So I don't think you can, you know, be upset there. Worrying Victor Gyökeres pattern emerges as Sweden media reveal problem with Arsenal star. And to be fair, based on the highlights, bro, your height goes against you because you're getting clotheslined, elbowed. So much crazy things are happening to you, and the refs aren't saying anything, which is why I always say, rightly or wrongly, if I could speak to Gyökeres, I wouldn't even talk about football and all of that because I think there's light at the end of the tunnel. You're too nice. Forget, be a nice guy off the field to your team. You're too nice. If nobody's going to liberate you in this life, liberate yourself. Like, I'd love to sit him down and just listen. Diego Costa. That's it. Just Diego Costa. Any sort of player that's Alan Shearer. I'm not saying it's right, but this is the end of the day. It is what it is. Little elbows, pushing. These are the things I think Gyökeres needs to bring to his game beyond the obvious. But he's been getting drawn out by the media. Victor Gyökeres slammed by Swedish media for ball control and mid-World Cup problems. Damn, he's always going to get drawn out. Had difficulty realizing his potential and didn't get into dangerous situations. Some good moves went wrong. Can't really get past defenders like he did before. The clip in the step is not there and loses almost every ball he gets. Damn, some Arsenal fans could say that. Damn, they're on you, Gyökeres, man, but they're always going to be on you. Maybe Mikel Merino can help him. Apparently, Mikel Merino, double M, has contributed to 36% of Spain's goals in the UEFA World Cup qualifiers. Only Haaland, with 41%, has a higher share for his national team. Merino is one of the most confused. You and Calafiori. Calafiori, not really, because we know he's a defender, left back or centre half. It's just you see him right wing up front and doing everything. Merino, you're clearly intelligent. You're clearly a good footballer, but like, what are you? You're not quite a striker. You're not quite a centre mid. You can play as a 6. Ain't no one want to see that. You can play as an 8. Very just an enigma of a footballer, really, Mikel Merino. But shout out to him. Are you not worrying about Gyökeres though? Because he's now gone 8 games in all comps. Bit shameless, you know, including the 2 for Sweden, but he's now gone 8 games in all comps and over 600 minutes without a goal. Didn't score against Bilbao, City, Port Vale, Newcastle, Olympiacos, West Ham. Is that the Switzerland flag? And Kosovo. Are we worried? Are we thinking about that? Where are we at, people? Saliba's actually coming for a bit of heat as well in the 2-2 draw for France against Iceland. Saliba played a full 90 minutes at the heart of France's defense. He did not continue the good form he showed for his nation last time out. He got a 5 out of 10 with the same report reasoning, needlessly conceded the free kick that led to Paulson's goal and was nowhere to be seen as Iceland scored their second. Show assured in the Premier League, but he looked nervous there because clearly France are not good defensively, really, when you haven't got a good defensive ethos. So, yeah, the French media are onto him, people. Too high. Saliba was sucked in for the second goal. It's a shame because he remains very reliable in contact. In short, a stupid mistake with serious consequences. Very present in duels, particularly with his head. He lost the ball and made the mistake, which led to the first Icelandic goal before being lacking vigilance on the second. I mean, what you do for your countries is you lot's business, innit? Trossard found the back of the net for Belgium, which, to be fair, you, Martinelli, not really going to see him on a consistent basis, but Max Dowman, you lot getting goals for your country. We're going to need you lot, man. We're going to need you lot. To be fair, out of all the attackers, you probably want Gyökeres to bag the most. Wanyeri looked good for England's under-21s. Conde and Upamecano were more at fault for the second goal. Bro, let them do what they want to do, innit? Like, let them do that. As long as it ain't at Arsenal, who cares, man? Ignore the being in that sentence. It looks like a translation thing. I hear it. Hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss streams or uploads. Come on, my people. Appreciate you lot. Appreciate you lot. So that is that. Marino, Zubamendi, and Calafiori have grabbed wins over the past just over a week. So it'd be interesting. I wonder how the banter's going for the players at our club in relation to who's going to be going to the World Cup. As stated, Martinelli played 57 minutes and scored in Brazil's 3-2 defeat to Japan. Gabriel Magalhaes remained on the bench. Both will now return fully rested for Arsenal. I don't know about fully rested. And also, I do always, it's above my pay grade naturally, but I do always worry. Not worry, but it's one thing. I think, especially us fans in England, when we're speaking about the international break, I think we're guilty of focusing a bit more than others on the Rices, on the Sackers. But then if you're Martinelli and all these guys and you're playing in South America with them tough tackles, sometimes high altitude, the flying aspect, and then getting back to train and recovery and all of that kind of jazz, it does make you wonder. And it's one where you wish you was a part of the coaching staff at Arsenal to actually see the condition that everybody returns in. Really, you know what? Somebody mentioned Partey earlier. It is nice to not worry about any of our players because Partey used to scare me the most going off with Garner. Just nothing to do with Garner. Just, he's going to return injured, essentially. So, yeah. Declan Rice has more goal contributions, 5, than any other England player in the Champions, UEFA World Cup qualifiers, man, said champions. Let's talk Semenyo. Anton Semenyo does have a release clause in his Bournemouth contract. TalkSport understands the exact terms of the clause are being kept under wraps. However, Bournemouth value him at north of 75 million. For Arsenal to get my hot take, I reckon he ends up at Man United or Liverpool. Arsenal ain't spending 75 million on him. If they do, I don't care because it's not my money. But yeah, let's see where the actual rumor came out of. Belemba's still linked with Man United. Okay, Anton Semenyo does have a release clause in his Bournemouth contract. TalkSport understands. As revealed in last week's notebook, the Cherries are braced for interest from the Premier League big guns after Semenyo's goal-laden start to the season. The 25-year-old Ghanaian held talks with Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester United before signing a bumper new 5-year deal in the summer, while Liverpool are also big admirers. Bournemouth were realistic enough about Semenyo's performances last season that including a release clause was the best way of committing his future. As you know, he signed a new deal. The exact terms of the release clause are being kept under wraps as Bournemouth want to keep hold of their star for as long as possible. Not if he keeps performing like this. Semenyo has 6 direct goal involvements in the Premier League this season, 6 goals, 3 assists. Only Haaland has more with 10, 9 goals, 1 assist, and Bournemouth value him at north of 75 million. So what we saying, is he worth that? You know what? I should ask you, look, what was the first thing I asked you? Look, who's better out of Odegaard and Eze? 15% of you went with Odegaard, 85% of you went with Eze. If it will let me, what we should do is Semenyo worth 75 M's? Simple yes or no, people will do. Simple yes or no. I thought it would mention Arsenal in some degree, but it didn't hear people. This might. Arsenal and United ready to pay 80 million to win race for Liverpool transfer target. Arsenal and Manchester United are reportedly among the clubs showing a strong interest in Bournemouth's inform attacking star Semenyo. He's shunned for the Cherries in recent times. Semenyo's form last season had already got him on the radar of big clubs during the summer, with Sky Sports previously linking with Man United and others. A move didn't materialize on that occasion, but Semenyo has taken his game another level this term, and now Finches, dodgy Spanish article, they're not even the most credible in Spain, if I'm honest, but they now claim that Arsenal, United, and Liverpool are among his suitors. Semenyo would supposedly cost as much as 80, so 5 million on top, and clubs would apparently be prepared to pay that. I mean, 25 years of age, if you genuinely believe in him, 75 million don't shock us anymore, does it? Rightly or wrongly, people. Julian Lescott has said, when asked if Gyökeres can take Arsenal to the Champions League this season, he can't do it alone. I'll describe Gyökeres as okay if you're going to win the league. Your striker can't be okay. He has to be top. I don't think Mikel Arteta can get Arsenal over the line in the Premier League. But I don't think Mikel Arteta can get Arsenal over the line in the Premier League, but in the Champions League, it's different. With the way he rotates and because of the big gap before the knockout stage, no one knows what kind of form or fitness teams will be in. That suits Arsenal better than having to be consistently good every single week to win the league. The Prem, what one Arsenal's more likely to win, the Prem or the Champs? It's always an interesting debate. Alan Shearer said it has to be Arsenal's year to win the Premier League. They spent an absolute fortune, bad man, because who won it last year? Finished second for the last 3 years. So yeah, we need to win it for our sakes. It's been 20 odd years. We've been flirting with it, and one reason or another it hasn't. But don't do this money thing. We've spent money, cool. Who hasn't? And other clubs have spent a lot more. So don't make it purely under the guise of we spent a lot of money, we must. You know who won the league. You know what they did. Please don't do that. And Arteta knows the eyes will be on him, and he has to win the Premier League this year. When you spend the amount of money that they have, second is no good. Second is no good. I hear it, but let's not do the money thing. What Zubimendi said here on the differences between La Liga and the Prem, the mentality is to be a man. Go into clashes hard. It's more direct. In Spain, when you get the ball, it's more about keeping it. In England, whenever you win it, it's straight on the attack. Transitions are unavoidable. It's harder to control. But handling that is not about ability as much. It's just getting your mind used to it. That's different to La Liga. But the thing that most struck me is the dead ball, how important it is. I'm seeing loads of goals from that, and they're often what opens up the game. We have a set play coach, and we work on that practically daily. Hot take, I think you're going to end up being a coach of some sort, Zubimendi. But I chose a team in Arsenal on the basis of my qualities too, what they wanted from me. I have to adapt my play a little bit in terms of playing faster, more direct. I'm a pivot. But in this structure, I have the chance to take that step forward. And Arteta insists a lot that I play that final pass and make the difference. But I think my profile doesn't change much. If they sign me, it's because they like what I do. They know this is what I can contribute to the team. If I changed my profile, it'd be an error. So, yeah, he's staying the same, people. So Campbell said Saliba wouldn't have signed the contract as well if he didn't believe Arsenal can win. They just have to win. This year, they've got to win by hook or by crook, but you have to work to get a lucky break. Amen. I think Timber is probably one of the best right backs in Europe at the moment. He's incredible, can score goals, good in 1v1 scenarios. He's definitely lost a bit of time from his injury, but he's a top player. I think it comes down to the back five. They know what they're doing now. They're young, but it's the maturity of their play now. The belief is there. They know they can do it. I hear that, yeah, but goals win games. And we're in a bit of a different realm because the manager is playing attacking football. The handbrake is down, at least for these last 3 games. And I'm historically, over the last 18 months, up until probably the Newcastle game, Arteta, I think it's more your tactics. The last 3 games, and I'm not expecting, players are not going to score every chance, but several of our players, and it's not to nitpick, it's just to go to the next level, need to find your boots. Madueke, Eze, need to find your goal-scoring boots. Trossard against Newcastle. And you're not alone. There's several others. Timber, especially if you're going to pop up in the box. Everyone, man. I couldn't care less of what non-Arsenal people who tell us what we must do. I hear it. How comes Wirtz is avoiding so much smoke? Because he didn't kick a ball for Arsenal. Lescott didn't win the Champions League. The league was easier. Damn. Yildiz will cost as much as Semenyo. He might do, but I don't know if he wants to leave Juventus. And obviously, Italian clubs, they're struggling financially. You never know. You put some Premier League pounds there, you might convince them, but it seems like he's going to sign a new deal. Obviously, if you're offering me Yildiz, 2 different kind of players, but I'm on that a bit more. I just can't see it happening. He's got a release clause, but it's being kept secret from the public and press. They can demand whatever money they want for Semenyo. True. 50 M's for Semenyo. Yildiz is quality. Yildiz would be amazing for this football club, man. I always worry about Calafiori every time I watch Italy. You are not alone. You are not alone. Nah, United don't. Nah, don't go United, Semenyo. I know you or one of your team are watching. Don't go United. Calafiori is the one scaring me the most. Tired of the York hate. He's in a rough patch, no doubt, and still in transition, but focus on the badge on the front of that Arsenal kit. We Arsenal supporters should support him through this period. Facts. You know what? The one thing I don't, whether Gyökeres is a success at Arsenal or not, I don't worry about him mentally. Of course, he's human. Strikers are weird. They know when they're not scoring goals, they're feeling some sort of way. But then, you look through his interviews and stuff. He's had to overcome adversity. Like, from the age of 12, I think I was reading on The Athletic, someone said he won't be a footballer. He's proving them wrong. Obviously, you went Brighton. It didn't work. People saying, oh, you can't do it in the Championship. Now you can only do it in the Championship. You did it in Portugal. Now you can only do it in Portugal, not a serious league. Obviously, any striker, but it is Gyökeres signed for us. Everything's going to go under the magnifying glass. Probably unfortunate not to get a penalty against Newcastle. Individual and collective teething issues. The last 3 games, though, Olympiacos, West Ham, and Newcastle, I think it's more on Gyökeres, but I think he'll come through it, man. I don't doubt that. It's more just, for me, if we're still saying these things next season about Gyökeres, I hear it. I'm not saying, as I said earlier, I'm not saying sell him. I don't know who, just bring me another striker. You're the plan B now, next striker, because you've got 12 months and we're this close. And I must admit, my patience is getting quite thin because it's now time to get over the line. But yeah, I can't disagree with Sol Campbell. I very much doubt you lot disagree with him as well. Is there anything new there? No, there is not. So yeah, big up Martinelli for that one, people. This has said Miles Lewis Skelly's at risk as we target Nathaniel Brown, who apparently this has said plays like Cancelo, who used to play for City. Arsenal, Manchester City, Real Madrid, according to Blin, are all interested in the Eintracht Frankfurt man, who apparently his club are demanding 60 million euros. Now, if he's that good, great. Who knows? Miles Lewis Skelly might finally get moved into midfield, but I can't see us splashing 60 odd million on another fullback. I mean, you can, but unless somebody leaves, we're quite full stock there. But you never know. You've got Calafiori, you've got Miles Lewis Skelly, you do have Hincape, however you pronounce it. So I don't really buy that, people. Boy, Isaac and Gyökeres in World Cup embarrassment as Sweden flop and face qualification failure. Boy, it's looking dark over there in Sweden, isn't it? What's this? Martin Odegaard targeting Arsenal injury return in time for 3 huge games. He's out with an MCL, and I'm sure he's pushing, but you need to just bring him back when he's right, innit? As we know, the captain is set to be sidelined for at least 5 weeks. I can't lie, people, off topic, but we're approaching November. In October, ain't we meant to be getting some updates on Kai Havertz and Madueke? All the others, I don't know, but I swear them lot are meant to be coming back. We need our players. But anyways, people, unfortunately, it is due to an injury, and the Norwegian has been plagued by issues in recent months, with his latest setback expected to keep him out of action until after the November international break. The 26-year-old had already seen limited game time this season due to a shoulder injury that has forced him off on 2 separate occasions in the first half against Leeds and obviously Forest. He did come off with an ankle injury this time against West Ham, which I think would be in our home games, 3 consecutive ones on the spin. We all know he withdrew from the Norway squad, and then we had to have some level of a diagnosis. He'll miss the games against Fulham, Burnley, Prague, Sunderland, as well as Atletico Madrid, Crystal Palace. You want everyone for that. And Brighton, damn. And we have Eze and Wanyeri. Mikel Merino and Kai Havertz will be I got a video coming out around this. Will be utilized in that 10, that 8, that right-sided centre mid, whatever you want to refer to it as. Arteta will be eager to have Odegaard back in action as soon as possible, ideally in time for the North London derby against Tottenham. The Spurs match at the Emirates Stadium falls on Sunday, the 23rd of November, conveniently the first game after the final 2-week domestic break of 2025. If Odegaard is not quite ready to make his comeback, then he will be pushing to play a role in 2 important games the following week against Bayern Munich and Chelsea. Ooh, gonna need everyone. I mean, I mentioned these 2, didn't I? No Odegaard for any of those matches could be a crucial blow for Arteta. With Arteta needing the full complement of the squad for 3 tough games in the space of 7 days. Noni Madueke and Kai Havertz, 2 of Arsenal's key players, are aiming for November comebacks after both sustaining the injuries. What's going on with everybody's knees now? Kai has only played 31 minutes this season, while Madueke frequently was used in the absence of Bukayo Saka, who also had injury issues of his own, people, which is a bit jarring in that regard. What's this? Gyökeres handed World Cup lifeline after Arsenal striker outscored to the okay. That's good, but we need that at my football club. So we're not even going to read Gyökeres stuff, but it just seems like everybody's quick to pile on for Gyökeres. Gabriel Jesus is still being linked with a January move back to Brazil, people. We saw that yesterday. I don't think that's going anywhere anytime soon. We've gone over Mr. Brown. If you're Ghanaian, you could about to be able to watch Eddie Nketiah play for your country. Now, shout out Eddie Nketiah, and you can't cut off your nose to spite your face. If you are the Ghanaian FA or the Ghanaian manager, in simply put, having Hudson-Odoi, who's also apparently on getting called up, as well as Eddie Nketiah, if you've got the options of calling them up and you feel your squad stronger, then you've got to do it. But I must admit, though, a part of me would say, "No, fuck you, man." Because when we was telling you lot to play for us, you all wanted to do the England thing, and you finally realized you can't play for England. Now you see us about to go to a World Cup / at a World Cup, you want to roll. You weren't rolling so safe, and then that could be a lesson indirectly for anyone else that's in that kind of situation. So I don't know, though. I'm not even going to read this, but Arsenal and Spurs apparently still linked with Ødegaard from Real Madrid. That's one that's going to be, circling. Liverpool plan to go for Nico Williams, and apparently we've been linked as well. I can't lie, man. Leave this guy alone. No matter, even if he's the best thing since sliced bread, man, leave this guy alone, man. He just probably peed off everybody, if I'm completely honest, man. Nobody ain't on that. Christian Mosquera is being linked with a potential switch, speaking of nationalities, people, representing his parents' homeland of Colombia, with a place at the World Cup potentially. on the cards, and he does hold a Colombian passport. He does play for Spain at under 21s level. He was born in Spain, so we're gonna have to see how that one develops. I mean, no point reading that out to you lot. That's just what I was reading about Zubamendi and his positioning. Again, video coming out regarding Zubamendi, folks. On finishing runners up for the third consecutive season, he said, for what the teammates have said to me, the problem was injuries. That when someone got injured, the team came undone. This year, the club has invested a lot in having 2 players in every position. So it's nothing to do with you, Zubamendi, directly, but that means the players have got to go out there and do their jobs. According to Opta's predictor, Arsenal are currently the favourites to win this season's Champions League with an 18.4% chance of lifting the trophy. Last time I checked, computers don't win titles. You need to go out there and score more goals than your opponent and keep them out the back of yours. Rio Ferdinand has praised Declan Rice as one of the best set-piece takers in world football. We know that, but I don't want to hear that. Who is this? Ali McCoy persuaded me to ditch Arsenal. I loved it, but it was the wrong move. Who's this? What's this? Who? And if that was the case for a rising Arsenal star who you convinced to swap the Emirates for the Ibrox, who? Glenn Kamara or something, innit? Oh, Kyle Bartley. Man, big up Kyle Bartley. Don't no one care what Kyle Bartley has to say. I quit football at 15. Now I'm worth. So that's about Semenyo. Because yeah, he bit like Eze. Really started doing a college course. It shows why you should never give up in life. Really. And there's a lot of parallels actually between Semenyo and Eze, as well as being an Arsenal fan. That's probably what draws me to him. It doesn't appear that there's anything new here, if I'm honest. Real Madrid have been told they will regret the signing of not signing Zubamendi. Crazy works. But yeah, man, that seems to be the papers. Injuries aren't going to derail us this season, though. Too much depth in the squad. Do you know what? It's mad because Saka was... Obviously, there'll be a time where you need your players available, but Odegaard's been injured. We've been able to maneuver. Saka's had injuries. We've been able to maneuver. When Saliba picked up his knock, we was able to maneuver. Who has actually been injured this season? Obviously, Gabriel Jesus. Actually, Magalhaes and Timber started the season having to wrap them in cotton wool, but what? Some degree of injury, what we've had. Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus, Saliba, Timber, Norgard, Saka, Madueke, Odegaard, if I haven't said that. Who else has been injured, people? Hincapié. I'm sure Kepa, you know. I'm sure Kepa. I could be capping about Kepa, but I'm sure either way, like, we've been able to keep it going. Man say computers don't win titles. You ain't ever played PES on superstar difficulty, though. Look at this guy, man. This guy's a fool. And yes, I have for what it's worth. Havertz won't be back until early November. We're approaching it, though. But the one thing I always say, I'm no physio and the players or whatever, but I do think our players care. They always try and push back and be ahead of schedule, and they always try and push the soldier through injuries. You saw it with Timber when he picked up the ACL. You actually saw Odegaard try to continue, and I always wonder, like, to some degree, Saka as well, even last season, did these players need saving from themselves? Of course, if they're passing the fitness test and the recovery and, you know, they're saying they're well, then great. But sometimes I feel these players will pass these tests and come through these protocols, and the manager and the physios will look them in the eyes and say, you're good, and are you good? And they'll say, yeah, and it's coming from the right place. But I think there's sometimes they know in their head, I'm 99.9% fit. There's a little niggle, but I'm going to soldier it. Do they need saving from themselves if that's the regards? We need everybody, man. For me, this season, I always give the example. We've got a toolbox. All these players are in the tools. Some games are not going to be pretty. And I promise you, hot take, yeah, the Sakas, the Ezes, the Rices, the Salibas, these guys, and they will do it in big games. These guys will be our bread and butter for the season. We live or die by these guys' performances. We know this, people. But I promise you, those kind of moments that make the season, that dodgy game where we're losing 1-0 and we score 2 last-minute goals and it's a big kind of thing for the 3 points for the title. You know, it's the Marinos, the Kai Havertzes, these kind of the more... How do I be respectful? The players that probably are not going to sell too many shirts in the armory, innit? It's these guys who make up the season, the Bandulu boys, as we should call them. We should do a video on that. People told me Havertz was going to be fit this month. Last month, I was told he was out till December. I don't know what's going on anymore. I just see the players when they roll in, man. When we're watching Arsenal and we see they're in the match day squad, that's when they're involved. Smash the like, people, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. Big up you lot, man. There's not a lot of us, but we're going to get there. We're building a tribe here. P, appreciate you. Our favorite bus driver of the platform. And as he said, remember to like and subscribe. Gyökeres going to come good and shut everyone up. I hope so, man. I need him to score some goals, man. But for me, you know what? If it don't work, I just want another striker. I don't want to persist with this shit next season. You know, look at Darwin, different, but the Darwin Núñez example. Liverpool thought, yo, he's going to be the guy. They bought him. It didn't quite work out. They found a role for him. They found better for them, and they kept it moving. Because I must admit, hot take, yeah. Big up Gyökeres, and I'm happy with him. And even if it don't work, I'm with Gyökeres to the end because you did the most to sign for this football club. I must admit, obviously, Isak would have been the first choice. Everyone would have loved that. Hugo Ekitike would have banged at Arsenal, you know. That could have even been a cheeky little left wing option. But we'll see, man. We'll see, man. And you know what? Life is shameless. The same people asking questions of Gyökeres, they'll be breading. For me, with Gyökeres, bro, I know it's so ugly, it's beautiful. I'm not Gyökeres. Obviously, general play, all that kind of jazz. I think you do that. You're definitely not the prettiest striker. You're definitely not the most technically pleasing. But we didn't bring you here for that. Just do what you're doing in terms of the general play. Better decision making. And take your chances. Because the last 3 games, you're good enough. Take your chances. And for me, as I said earlier, you're too nice. And I know you shouldn't be nice, bro. Like, don't do the gentle giant stuff. Like, I'm 5'8". I wish he had short man syndrome in his kind of stature, bro. Start bullying, man. Just be ugly, bro. You're already strong. We see the centre halves. You're fighting 2 man 9 times out of 10, and you're rushing them. Like, Diego Costa settings, man. As soon as Gyökeres gets his first hattie, it's long for everyone. Listen, we need that. Because when last did we do this? Sesko's catching him up. It was fun and games chatting shit about Sesko, I must admit, but life is a humbler, man. I don't want to have humble pie yet, man. We just got here. Too much talk of set pieces. Sorry, lads, this isn't rugby. Oh, I didn't know set pieces couldn't be used in football. M1 love. I'm still of the belief Ekitike is going to miss games either due to injury or, as we've now seen, him getting banned for some silly moment. Bro, the man them scored. He's excited. It happens, innit? It happens, man. It happens. A part of me is even thinking, right, you know what? Should we have grabbed Ollie Watkins? I don't want to have these conversations. Yep, Havertz, Marino going to come up clutch this season because you understand football. Look at City. Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko, they weren't regulars, but there was times they were just getting the side. We're going to need to play on that kind of stuff. I'm so confident in us winning the league this season, lads. Define winning the league. What does that mean? Because you look at us this time last year, we've missed Saka, we've missed Saliba, we've missed several players, and we've coped with it. This time last year, that's unheard of. So a year removed, we've got better. So in many ways, defeating yourselves, being better than you was yesterday, could be defined as winning the league. There's many ways to win a league. Are you talking about, obviously, I don't look at the league table, I don't know where Arsenal are. Obviously, the big years, which we haven't done in 20 years. Are you talking about being better? I'm not sure. You're gonna have to explain to me what winning the league is. You're gonna have to explain to me what confidence is, because you can be confident and unconfident. You can be so confident you've got no confidence. Am I derailing you lot? Yes, I am. Mikel Arteta, shout me. I know you're getting tired of the PR and the nonsense that they ask you in the press conferences. There's a job for me there. I can't see where this slip happens. I can't see us slipping on more banana skins than Liverpool and City. It does feel like the stars are aligning. It does feel like we got that hunger. It does feel like I'm happy with the squad. But listen, seeing's believing, man. Stranger things have happened. I've seen too much now. To be honest with you, I'm not gonna sit and say I don't dream. Of course, I dream about Arsenal winning the Prem and the champs, and go back in time and think, could we have won 2-3 Prems on the spin and many domestic honours, and had we had Gyökeres and a bit more depth centre mid, could we have given it more of a go against PSG? Maybe got into the final. I don't know. We've been there before, but for me, of course I dream, but I don't dream no more. Like, let's just do what we know we need to do in it. We know what we need to do. When we lose, don't get excited and start looking at what other people are doing. When we win, do not get excited and take your foot off the gas. For me, I'm just get into 2026. Literally January the 1st. We're still feeling the same way we are. From then, get me to March. From March, get me to May. And then May, as cliche as it is, however many games you got, it's a final, innit? Every game's a final. Hopefully, Islington, there's things going on that we want. But the dreaming thing's gone now, man. The dreaming thing's gone. Semenyo guy in Liverpool. Do you know what? I actually could see that, but they need him. I mean, it's Liverpool. It's a big club. Apparently, Edwards is a big fan. I big up Jerry. I need to get you on the platform. I understand it, and to be fair, well, it's not really how they play on the slot, but they're on the clock, sorry, but they're very direct, so it makes sense. I could see him fitting in, but you've got Hugo, you've got is like you probably got Salah not long term, but you got him for a year or so. You got Gakpo. Did they really need him? United, you got a new look front three. Another one, like, let's be honest, Semenyo's 25, bro. Like, he's not gonna say no if the money makes sense. And like, if Liverpool will go for him, he'll listen. If Arsenal go for him, he'll listen. If United go for him, he'll listen. It makes sense for all of them. But apart from Spurs, obviously Thomas Frank factor in it. I feel when you look at who has he been linked with? He's been linked with City. I don't really believe that, but he's been linked with United. He's been linked with Liverpool. He's been linked with us. United, Liverpool, Arsenal. Indirectly Chelsea, but Spurs. I rate all of those teams, all of those teams' chances more than us of signing Semenyo. I think there's an angle. I'm happy with Semenyo. Like, I think he bangs. He's Premier League proven. He's 25. Obviously, parallels with Eze being an Arsenal fan growing up, culture, Donny, all that stuff, wasn't going to be a footballer. I think people don't give him credit. He is he ain't Santi Cazorla, but he is ball-footed. He is versatile. He is intelligent. You look at the way Areola does his tactics and Arteta. Maybe it's a Spanish thing. Maybe it's a coincidence. We don't play alike, but there's parallels in it. They're very direct. They do hit it long. Our set piece coach will love him. He's good in the air. He throws it long. But I rate all those other teams' chances of getting him. Like, I could see him fitting in at Liverpool. I could see Spurs probably being the most aggressive of the traditional top six in the pursuit of him. Left field choice might even be a little Newcastle. Arsenal and United depends in it, because United, you kind of, on paper, you got players in an attacking sense. You probably need more midfielders. It all depends on the price, man. 60 odd million. I'm doing that tomorrow. If I'm honest, I'm gonna try to throw in a little Reece Nelson. It's about time he left us permanently in it. So yeah, I'm gonna keep pushing the agendas, but I can't see it, man. Like what Capalot is saying here, 75. Stranger things happen. 75. Hopefully Berta's got a plan for us, because I would love Semenyo, Rodrigo. Fuck it, bring Rafael now, man. I don't even rate Rafael like that, but fuck it. Just do something. Or just sign me some young player. I think we've got more of a chance of signing Semenyo than Gordon. I keep mentioning Gordon because at least his name in the Athletic, when they're talking about players Arsenal want and all this stuff, he's continuously name dropped, man. We can't include Nelson in that deal. He'll sabotage it by demanding to stay at Arsenal. Do you know what? I hear it, but do you know what? Nelson needs to leave, and unfortunately, like, you need to leave, not to become a man, but like, Arsenal's all you've known, innit? You've been here since 8 years of age. You're early to mid-20s now. Think about everything that goes for your life. Arsenal's been a consistent. But when I remove what I might feel about the club, at the end of the day, a football career is short. And he's living, bro. You're getting 100 bags. You probably, with the way the game is, you probably get something like that elsewhere, innit? Because I don't think... What website do you go on to look at wages? Because I swear Eddie Nketiah was on 100 bags a week at Arsenal, excluding bonuses, all that jazz. He's probably on something similar at Crystal Palace. So you will get that money elsewhere, but no one put a gun to this club's head to give him that deal. And I understand the career short. You hear that he wants to stay in London and all these things. It makes sense. Like, I understand it. It's like Jadon Sancho, of course. Like, United want to get rid of you. You're not doing what you're projected to be, but bro, you're not getting 300 bags a week anywhere else in the world. Sancho, boy, I don't know for you, Sancho, mate. Like, I don't know, man. Not everything that glitters is gold, bro. And you know what? I'll be honest, Sancho, you need Lowski. Since Lowski got bagged, Haaland has not been the same. Like, it's absolute darkness over there, man. Jadon, what's going on? What is going on? What is going on with these footballers? Like, how, bro, girls are referring to you as a client, bro. I know that, one thing I give football people, football fans, football players, football fans, they definitely got banter. His group chat must be flames, absolute flames. Say what? Yeah, like, I wasn't wrong. Eddie Nketiah is on 90 grand a week, and you probably caveat that. Obviously, you're not getting paid 100, but probably a 4 or 5 year deal at Crystal Palace, 90 odd grand a week ain't too bad. Probably got a signing on bonus as well, doing his thing essentially. So yeah, Commanders on peas. Teams are on people. You see this football thing, you can get peas. What's Arsenal's? And again, this ain't really accurate, you see, boy. This is why I think, Kai Havertz and Odegaard, I'm watching you lot over the next 12 months very closely, because I do think there's a role for you lot. I don't think you lot should get forced out and things, but I just wonder, like, if Wanyeri and Eze, they're the options in that role, and you know, all the places that Kai plays, all the other players take their chance. All the clubs say, do you know what? Kai ain't put a foot wrong. But we might be able to get like a like for like kind of guy or squad filler kind of guy, or rotationary option, or one of them for a lot less than 200 grand a week. Odegaard's a bit different, but if Dowman, when he's 16, 17, is doing his thing, if Eze and Wanyeri are taking their chances, they might say, oh, you know what, 240 grand a week for a squad player is a lot. So it'll be interesting because I know Saliba's just signed a new deal, but give or take, like, it will be interesting, man. Like, it'll be interesting. Jesus, days are numbered. We all know this. Like, Jesus gone. Ideally, Saliba deserves his P's. Odegaard at the time. Rice is cool. Yoko has just signed. You're going to be on something like that. Saka deserved. Martinelli's another one, going back to what I said about Odegaard, Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus. These are ones you're going to be monitoring. Maybe, hot take, maybe even Benjamin White. Now, I'm not selling Ben White, but it might be something. There's a next right back that's going to be on a lot less, because that is, Arsenal need to get better at selling. We do need to keep an eye on wages. Listen, I don't really care about wages. I have definitely not got money to shell out this. The club are doing, and I'm sure the club wouldn't commit to these things, because one thing we are is prudent. Wouldn't commit to these things if we didn't know we could do it. But naturally, there's going to have to be some way around it. This has dispelled the myth that Noni Madueke is on 50 grand a week. I said it at the time. Like, if you're genuinely on the same wages, you leaving Chelsea to go to Arsenal, one big London Premier League team to another, 50 odd million, your agent's shit if you ain't got peas from that. So I didn't believe that. Marino, another one I'm watching, 130, don't know. Calafiori, well, do you know what? Calafiori, you probably in the next 2 years, if you keep doing what you're doing, you probably sign improved terms. Timber the same. Raya signed a new deal, but not really in terms of length type of thing. Trossard, days are numbered, but you're not here long term. Wanyeri, cool. Zubamendi, Hinkapi. I can't lie, you lot got Zang slyly. See, this is how you know in life, yeah. It's what you can negotiate. How have you managed Zubamendi? How have you big Zubamendi come off the bench for Rodri in the champion in the Euros final? How have you managed to get less a week than Mikel Merino? Shout out Double M. Just does his thing. This is madness. Hinkapi Sly got zanged as well. Oh, big up Lewis Skelly, 45 grand a week. Could have got a bit more than that, put a bit more on that. Dowman's 15. I mean, if you're 15 on 35 grand, crazy. That's probably because we're not paying all of Zinchenko or Nelson's deals, but they need to cut in it. We're definitely signing Hinkapi because he's only on 65. He's definitely getting signed. Timber on 90, still on the same wages he's on from when he signed his initial deal. You know he's gonna get a lot more than that. Saka definitely getting 300 to 350k after this new contract. I can't lie. As long as they sign new deals, it is what it is. Saliba, I'm amazed you're not the highest earner at the club. Saka, you need to make sure your agent makes you the highest earner at the club. I don't know how Zubamendi. What does that mean? Yeah, Zubamendi got zanged. You know what? He's a humble lad, man. Probably humble lad. Me, boy, I need more people. Eze's agent doing the right thing. Ben White's agent, right thing. Madueke's right thing. Magalhaes, right thing. Marino, right thing. Couple men are getting zanged. She's an escort, so it's correct that she referred to Sancho as a client. So why are you dealing with escorts, bro? That's lame as hell, bro. Yeah, Sancho, man. And you know what made me laugh? Yeah, follow me on TikTok. I did a TikTok about it. Like, she's like, oh, you're doing too much balloons or something. Like, you see what the right women can make you achieve so much in life, being around the wrong ones. And Sancho, you got lost in the sauce. The front can't be that good, lad. Like, it can't. Well, if you got 300 grand a week, what are you doing, Muppet? We should have never given them that much, but it's not our money. Yeah, we zanged up. Where Eddie and Kate and Reece Nelson are concerned, Arsenal zanged themselves. Because if you remember, I swear when they got their new deals, it was almost like, cool. We know that from like August, we know they're leaving. They're not really flavor of the month. No one don't really care like that. Then there's that part of the season where they get a run in the team. They might have scored a dramatic goal or put in a bit of form. And then it's like, oh, hang on. Got to keep you now. Nelson's gotten good chances. He's just not Arsenal level at the end of the day. And if he ever will be Arsenal level, it will take too long for Arsenal. Exactly. And you know what? Jadon Sancho, Hudson-Odoi, and Reece Nelson, I thought they'd all be held in higher regards than they actually are. Obviously, different reasons for why it didn't work out quite for different, but at the end of the day, they're all still Premier League footballers. And I know we talk about potential a lot, but you got to deep it. These lot from inner city London, all over the world, but inner city London, man, have dreams to be footballers. I'm sure all three have played for their country at some level. They're earning peace. You're all in the Prem. Nelson made his debut when Wenger was here. Like Saka, Wanyeri, Dowman, they might not have even been in their dad's ball sack before we even know what these guys were when Nelson's here. It just hasn't banged. Decision making, pony, injuries it just ain't happened. And I like Nelson, nice guy. You know, who wouldn't want it if it could work for Nelson right now? Yeah, like I shouldn't be talking about left wing. Honest, I genuinely believe this. I shouldn't be talking about left wing. If Nelson was even half the play was projected to be, but maybe Noni's not even signed, but we've got an option off that left. If Martinelli's decision making is out this world, we've got an option off that left. Unfortunately, this isn't the way the world crumbles. I would have loved for Eddie Nketiah to be the next Thierry Henry out of our academy or some significant striker, but it's just not happening. Do you think Nelson should have got more of a chance? Yes and no. There's been times where we could have utilized him more, but no, bro. Like, you've been here for time, bro. Like, you've had 3. If you want to be silly and include Longberg, that would be 4, but 3 different gaffers now. It ain't banged. Like, there's got to be, like, none of these guys have thrown their hat on you. Maybe you're unlucky. Maybe they've all missed a trick, but none of them have thrown their hat on you and said, boom, 10, 20 starts, 10 starts, 20 starts, 30 odd Premier League games. Why is that? I think his decision was something that became, and I'm sure in my early days of YouTube, I even said it. One thing, and I actually extended it to Jadon Sancho and Hudson-Odoi, but focusing with Nelson, I said one thing that for me became apparently clear from when he's gone from playing in the youth team to in the first team. I think for a while you looked a bit overruled. You're not really sure on confidence, but your decision making, that is what turns good players into great players and great players into decision making. People always want to talk bullshit about Mohamed Salah, more aesthetically pleasing. Decision making. You know how many players that are more aesthetically pleasing would beg to have that level of consistency in decision making and intelligence. Same goes for Bukayo and many other players. But maybe, but it's just a myth, bro. Like, you had your chances, and you don't know me. I love young players. I'd love it to work for Nelson. You don't know I have the impossible dream of 1 in 11 Haylenders starting for Arsenal, but it don't bang. Max Dowman's already better than you. Nelson always got time in my heart for you. You know, 2 games come to mind. I remember you and Lacazette scoring against Liverpool at the Emirates. We all remember the Bournemouth one, but it ain't banged in. Arteta's given Nelson chances, man. Wasn't Nelson in his first start in 11? It just ain't banged. And maybe I always think, yeah, like maybe this is just what Reece Nelson was supposed to be, which isn't bad. You're still in the Premier League. Maybe you weren't meant to be the guy, and that goes for a lot of players. Like, maybe they're not meant to. Maybe they, in hindsight, this was always your story. If Arsenal and Liverpool both go in for Semenyo, he chooses Arsenal every day, it'll be the same as Eze. I don't know. It's neck and neck. It's neck and neck. It's not Arsenal versus Spurs. There's every reason to choose Liverpool over Arsenal. I genuinely think there's reasons to choose Arsenal over Liverpool. You don't know. You never know, though. Certain man tried to get Zubimendi, not just in this country. I know what team he plays for. When we call for them, it's different. We don't need him now. We held talks with him, but chosen Burma instead. You lot are bloated. Obviously, you can't turn down good players. If there's money, it is what it is. But I just feel if United are to spend a bag, it's probably central midfield or a player like if there's a Haaland. For example, if there's a next Haaland available, it don't matter who's up front for even Arsenal. Teams are going to move heaven and earth for that. But yeah, man. Sam, if I need us to win a major so I can finally get an Arsenal tattoo, I still might get it regardless. But I've always said I won't get one until we win the Prem again or win the Champs. Now, don't fold. When we win, grab that. You lot missed the trick not getting him. Probably should have gotten him over Noni. I'd have had him over Noni, but we're at where we're at. Speaking of Zinchenko, he's been so stinky for Nottingham Forest. So glad that clown isn't at our club anymore. Horrible man. And you see how he's not playing up front? We're going to lift the trophy, DG Armpits. I hope so, man. But I don't want to dream no more. I don't want to dream anymore. I don't try to dream. But there was a moment. Remember with the year we lost it second? The year we finished second, well, there's been the last 3. But the year we finished second, then it went to the last day of the season. The run towards the end, like the North London derby. Yeah, just when I saw Havertz ping that pass and Saka and just the way we maneuvered, I was like, A part of me in the first year didn't believe it, but a part of me thought Jesus is in his first year. It might just last year, I'm not gonna lie, at no point did I think we'd win the league from start to finish. I was so pissed off about the summer, let alone Wolves at home first game of the season. It was all a bit. I did think the Champions League, though. Obviously, the first leg at the Emirates, wow, couldn't believe it. But it was more how we was, and obviously the game's done by then, innit? But the way, like, there was a maturity about our performance at the Burner Bar. I thought, you know what, stars might be aligning. Tranquillo, Champions League. Obviously, PSG just shot that balloon out the sky and popped that bubble. So, is what it is. I always look to the vibes the squad is giving towards the gaffer and club as a whole. And if the club is attracting talent and players are re-signing, but there's a big disconnect with some in this fan base, bro. As I said, for me and YouTube, the best thing. I think, like, I'm not saying you, but one thing that annoys me is when people try to police either you can't police my opinions, innit? I'm really, but when I bring on content creators, innit, or people that love to speak about football, because I love to speak to everyone. Like, you can see all the guests I have on a frequent basis. Some are more happy as Larry, some are more negative, some are more in between, some are more thinkers, some are more vocals, different walks of life, all these things, innit? And I like to have these conversations because I might learn something. I might, concede that you've got a point. You might change my thinking, but I am my own man. I will draw my own conclusions. I think many people can't do that. And I think, unfortunately, where football discourse is coming from now, like whether it's on websites, probably the pub or in real life is the only place where I think it's normal, but all sorts of media, TV, TV, YouTube, media outlets, all sorts of media. It's nonsense now, man. There's no balance. You lot know me. I'm all for a laugh and a joke and bantering. You lot are shit and we're shit. But past that, there's got to be some genuine questions. I think there's too much toxicity. There's too much extreme opinions. There's too much gender-driven drivel from both sides. It's not just people that are mad negative that thrive agendas. People are paid by clubs and do the PR thing. I guess what I'm looking for. There's no balance. There's no honesty. So for me, I just said, fuck it. You know what? If I know this, I need to go where I think I can see things. Because there's plenty of websites and people I'll speak to, or people like yourselves, where big up Jay, one of my members, I always use him as an example. Me and him disagree on almost everything. But I respect his opinion, the way he draws his conclusions and the thought process. He's a thinker. So that's all I want to be surrounded by. And that's what we're doing on this platform. That's why you notice I do a lot more, make it subscriber only, like. Yeah, man, because if I can't control externally, we can just control internally, innit? So we'll just do the thinkers thing over here, man. So yeah, man. We've got all the players to do the pretty stuff before the goal. We just need to get the ball to Gyökeres so he can bang. I hear it. You know what they say, though, man? The hardest thing in life, well, in football, better yet, is put the ball in the back of the net. So hopefully, man, subscribe and like. Now, some of our fans are preying on our downfall so they can get proven right. And you know what? Anyone that's doing that is a pussy, because you're going to double whammy yourself, because you're still going to get vexed that the team's losing. And I want to be wrong about things. There's plenty of players. Well, there's not plenty of players, but I don't think Kai Havertz, unless it's being dumb, but I don't think Kai Havertz is the long-term striker. Why wouldn't I want him to look up one day and he scored 20 goals? Because that makes my team better. That's a sad way of looking about things, if I'm honest with you. But this is the thing, and especially with content creators, bro, you just talk about, including myself, you just fucking talk about football, bro. You're not a celeb. But that's annoying. Like, do you know how sad that is? People just want to be proven right. But this is why I said, if that's what they want to do, they go over there and do that, innit? And I'm at the point now, if I know someone's going to go in and doing them things, and I witness that, and I'm choosing to watch that, I'm the dickhead. Let me go put myself where I might learn something or see something. Is what it is. That's it. I'm proven right. What happens? Forgive me if I'm wrong. Do you get the key to the city? Do you get elected to parliament? Do you get a knighthood? Do you get £1 million? What do you get for that? Because that's the thing. A lot of people want to be right, but you've been wrong about things. All of these managers have been wrong a lot of the time, but they've just been right more times. And that's what I think annoys me about football. There's a lack of humility. I've heard Pep Guardiola, Arsene Wenger, Jose Mourinho, the list goes on, all say, I know nothing. I'm always learning, this, that, and the third. These are men that are hallmarks of football. So then what the fuck can you, pardon my French, you as a normal fan say? But unfortunately, where football discourse comes into it, yeah, there's just, I said this yesterday, I say it all the time, I think there's two things people can't say. I don't know, and I'm wrong. But it is what it is, man. Forget all of that, man. You get to hold the candle if you get proven right. But that's, bro, broken clocks right twice a day, bro. Like, because you've been wrong about bare things and you've been right about one thing, and who really cares? Like, it's jarring in the grand scheme of things. Who really cares? It's a bit moist, really. I want to be right to show other man. This is why we're the middle gooners over here, because you get it. Like, we're not trying to all inclusive. We're definitely not trying to impress man over these sides, man. The best one I've heard from one of our fans recently is Marino will be the 10 now, Odegaard's out, which is pure madness. I'm not gonna lie, and trust me, a video is coming out, people. A video is coming out on this, yeah. It needs to be Eze and it needs to be Eze and it needs to be Wanyeri. But what we need to remember, as much as that 10, that 8.5, that right side centre mid, the Odegaard role, whatever you want to call it, obviously, I'll buy. No matter how much the game's changed in a day and age where goalies still need to be able to catch goal, be good with your feet. It feels like scoring goals for strikers is not good enough. So you look at Gyökeres, if you're not scoring, there's issues. And you got to be able to do all these other things. But the game ain't changed. It's still a creative role. We still need that. And naturally, our bias is what? Eze finally in the center. Wanyeri's there. But we also got to remember that that's an intricate role. Like you've got to, and I'm not saying that this is the reason why Dons have to play, but you need to be able to stand in certain areas of the pitch that Arteta demands. You need to be able to press. You need to have the competencies to know, okay, I'm standing here because I don't know, Declan Rice now stands here. If he moves there, I've got to be there. There is that element. And obviously, if it's just in terms of technical ability and all of that kind of jazz, Wanyeri, Eze, you two are the ones. I don't want to hear nobody else's name. I'll push if it was just in that, maybe a Jesus or Trossard. There's no one else that's going to show me that. But when you're talking the intelligence of that role, and sometimes there might just be games that are ugly and we're going to have to do it, you are going to see Marino. You are going to see Kai Havertz if and when fit. You are going to see that. Yeah, that's silly, man. That's silly. Absolutely silly. Big up DG, looking forward to the... Big up DG, looking forward for the league to start. Ryan, where you been? The league started, my guy. Where you been? Too many have skin in the game and they bet on us losing, so now they need us to lose. Right? The scary thing is how sheepish everyone is, but yes, ultimately, if they want to follow, they'll follow whatever suits. Oh, people are sheep. People are sheep, and I think you're a dickhead. Like you can listen, if you feel people align with you, go follow them, but draw your own conclusions. Unfortunately, idiots are gonna have big followings, isn't it? That's why a lot of people are attracted to the circus. But everybody just do their thing. Like everybody just do their thing. For me, I'm all for. Listen, I'm not. I actually like to speak to people who on paper, because I think a lot of content creators that I do content with, you lot label them as negative. I don't think they're negative. Or sometimes you lot label them as toxic positive. I don't think they're that. But one thing I would always, for me anyways, you can be as toxic or as positive. You can think Arteta is the best thing since sliced bread. You can think he's the worst thing. As long as you can articulate it, I don't care. Like, I just don't like the whole, and now obviously we lose, I'm emotional, but I don't like the whole emotional stuff. Like there needs to be logic to what you're saying, or at least some thought process. So yeah, everyone's allowed to have an opinion, man. Everyone's allowed to have an opinion. Well, we know the draw will put us and Madrid in each other's way again. 100%. If we beat Madrid this season and it's really happening, it being the Champions League winning the final, I don't know, man. Pardon me. 2023-24 was the only time I genuinely believed we were going to win it, to be honest. Slightly the Leicester season. Slightly. I don't, when Welb scored. I don't mind Madueke. I would hope that Yok can do the production where Noni lacks and that Noni can facilitate Gyökeres' production. But did someone say top of the league not even got into gear? I don't know where we are in the league. Honestly, I've never seen us. How can you judge Arteta so harsh? Because the cunt has spent $1 billion and delivered F4 in return. You Tata fanboys are jokers. Riley, you remember you support Spurs, you know? Our manager needs all his own players to win a trophy now. Brazy work. Agenda. Nelson's had a lot of chances. He's had chances. It hasn't worked. He's not that guy. Arteta gave Nelson chances. Wenger, Emre. Bro, it's just not banged now, bro. It's just you're not, the penny ain't dropped. A part of me feels decision making, and you just, one, you're not good enough. Two, you ain't developed more. And three, decision making. But a part of me feels one thing that's killed Nelson has been lack of stability and injuries. You've never had stability, bro. When have you had? Of course, even when you've gone off to Fulham, or at this moment in time, you're not really in the match. They scored Brentford. You're there for a year. That is stability. But you're always one of them. You've been at Arsenal. You've not got a run of games and all that stuff for one. But you've been at Arsenal, but you're not quite at Arsenal. You're not really playing. You know, sometimes you're in and out the match day squad, then you get an occasional start, you go on loan, you're in and out the squad. You've needed to cut out somewhere, go to some club. They're gonna bet on you. There's a year, 2 years, 3 years, even. You're that guy now. You're playing week in, week out. You're getting that confidence. You're learning. You're doing all these things. He hasn't had that. Like, it still kind of mimics some random 80. Like, Nelson's career kind of mimics some random, obviously exaggeration, but like that. You know, when you get like an 18, 19-year-old there in that weird little scenario where you're better than the 21s, but you're not quite. You're in the first team, but you're not quite. You're kind of in that halfway house, that purgatory. That's where he's been. And I get it. It probably took probably in the last 2 years, the pennies finally dropped. Yo, I've got to cut out from Arsenal. But how many players can say they've won an FA Cup, come through the academy and done all those things? So in that way, it's a movie. If Nelson even had Trossard's level of decision-making, be a completely different player, be a top player. Like, respect. I know you're not buying Trossard, but man, I have to respect Trossard. He's a Premier League player, Belgium international. Like, probably one of Arteta's better attacking signings. Joined us in January, a difficult period to sign for a club, and done well. Could learn a lot, both-footed. Trossard can't, Nelson can't talk to Trossard at all. Well, corner boys in the building, my boy. Come on. If things worked out, we'd have Nelson and Willock on the wings. Even Joe Willock, where is he? Sancho got all the P's and still trying to bang loose. I'm not going to read the rest. Ziva Mendillo, baby, give me an email. I'll be your agent. That's 75K, right? Hey, man, Sancho. It's crazy, man. For a minute, I forgot about Sancho's thing, but fuck you know, man. He's meant to be our guy. Nelson still feels like an 18-year-old person on the scene. Exactly. And that's not, I'm not saying it's all his fault, because obviously, like, football, man, let's be honest, bro. These footballers, they get lied to a lot, man. And I'm not even criticizing the managers. The managers, yo, you're going to play, bro. He wants to make it at Arsenal. It takes a while for the pennies to kind of drop. What I would say to Nelson is, the past brings regret. The future brings uncertainty. There's no time like the present, and you must fully immerse yourself in the present. What does the present tell you? You're a Premier League footballer at 23 years of age, on loan at Brentford, employed by Arsenal on 100 bags a week. Make of that what you will. Look at this guy. This guy's silly. Man just wanted to say stuff. People been saying we've been playing like ish, but now we're top while playing ish. Our ceiling's high this season. Listen, I don't know where Arsenal are in the league. I know we need to score a lot more, concede a lot less, chase some points. Where we're not on this, we're not on that. Boy, we just need to keep going. Now his head's gone. So wary of getting carried away. Won't celebrate a win. I step back and think about that. It's not who. I want bare Arsenal babies in 2027, lift trophies in 2026, babies in March 2027. But I don't need to be asked twice. Nah, man. Shout out Lee. Selling Willock and buying Odegaard was the making of this team. Big up Odegaard for 30 odd mil. What's Yard? No, I like Yardman. I don't agree with a lot of Yardman's opinion, but I respect a lot of it, and I respect him. I like Yardman. Like, I don't agree with hardly anyone's opinions, if I'm completely honest, but that's the beauty of it. But I do think it's misplaced, but I do think there is an element of some of our fan base, they fail to realize in life and sport, you need to, like, win is not everything, but at some point you gotta get over that. Sancho getting fleeced for his wages. Boy, he's fleecing himself, mate. Rio's an absolute Bobby Dazzler, mate. I'm here pro bono. Rather lead this over Semenyo for me. Don't rate him. All right, Oliver, you done too much about the not rating him, but yield this over Semenyo 100%. But that's the thing, man. We might need to start scouting, man, because it feels like we're all wanting and we all still are linked with the same names, man. It's tired, man. In my videos, I want to be in mine, DG. Huh? What? What are you on about, lad? Sancho is better than any Arsenal winger. I'll take your word for it, man. We say you're trying to join his stable. You're trying to be one of his hoes, innit? You saying you saw he got money, you saw the cost of living, and you want to shake Nash for him, innit? That's why you're chatting off. But I hear it, man. Big up Yard, man. He just wants to see us win. We might not agree with his opinion, but he wants to see the team win. Now, I got a lot of time for Yard, man. Semenyo is a Mane regen. What a ball. I don't know about Mane regen, but he's cold still. If everyone is linked with the same names, then in some regards, one could argue football scouting's been solved. I hear it. He's honestly no different to Doku, but big up DJ Oliver. Big up yourself. You're killing me, man. Nah, man. He's better than... Well, you know what? Doku's doing his thing now, you know. If Doku had decision-making, he'd be cold. But nah, man, you're boying it. They're nothing alike. I don't think you're really watching Bournemouth like that. They're nothing alike. They both got dreads and that, and they're wingers, but that's about it. The injuries defo derailed, man. Yeah, and again, that's the thing with Nelson. It's stop-start. Like, I'd love to know how many times, unfortunately, he's had hamstring knocks and like... His injury list is probably bigger than Billy Billion's convictions, mate. It's dark. Like, unfortunately, he's just not been able to string a run of anything. As you can see there, well, I don't even know if you lot can see it properly, so let's zoom in a bit. It's unfortunately 28 games. Boy, his season was ended early. He missed 28 games last year. I knew you had a lengthy layoff, but yeah, you see? See? No, man. No, man. That shit at final, dead in Nelson. Just didn't bang. Unfortunately, it's just sometimes it's how the game goes, man. Mane's his levels, I can't lie. Semenyo gets close to that, then he must sign. I can't lie, he's nowhere near Mane, bro. Mane was different. Mane, Mane used to tear us a new one when he was at Liverpool every week, innit? But the scariest Mane was the Southampton Mane with them yellow boots when everyone was doubting him and Louis van Gaal was begging Man United to sign him and he had no sponsor. But Callan Chambers, the things I've seen Mane do to Callan Chambers and actually Jefferson Montero to Callan Chambers, there's so many people that could be locked up. And that's actually one thing I like about our club, because even when good players score against us, we're looking like players. Like, one thing that used to annoy me with Rob Holding and Callum Chambers is like Salah and Mane are destroying you anyways, but you're tripping over your own foot, you're bumping heads, like you're making it look worse than it's already looking mad, but you're making it look even more mad. It's horrible, man. But yeah, I think Arsenal need a left winger in conclusion, but I don't think we're getting that in January. I think we've got what we've got. I think the closest I'll get to a left winger next season, until next season, probably seeing Gabriel Jesus. Southampton, Mane, horrible, bro. Bozo, Callum Chambers and Rob Holding still have nightmares about Mane. Where the hell is Rob Holding? I feel like he's in America. Like I saw you went to America. He's going to be in Ballers League. Bro, you're 30, bro. Where are you? Colorado Rapids. At least you're still part of the KSE group. To be fair, Holding used to love him. He loves America. He always used to go NFL and do all of that. To be fair, players like you sum up Mikel Arteta, sum up Arsene Wenger, because he plucked you from Bolton, whether you're good enough or not. You became an FA Cup winner, and Rob Holding, I won't worry you too much because you stood up very tall in the final in the FA Cup for us. So yeah, when you needed to stand up, you was doing your thing. Man wants a Birkin bad as well, fending it for Sancho. Probably got Sancho on his neck. Could we say Sanchez walks into this team? No. Southampton last decade was lit. What happened? Maybe lost their scout and stuff, man. Yeah. Whatever you say, man. Trolling on Twitch is a new one, though, man. Big up yourself. Not even taking it in, but yeah, come on. Done no. Like the video, but on that note, though, man, I'm very wary of you lot's time. So why waste you lot's time? Obviously, we had hot takes at the beginning. We've kind of started waffling about Nelson and taking the mick out of Sancho and everything else. But without you lot, it's dead, man. And the good thing is Premier League football is coming back. Tomorrow, there should be a Zubamendi video coming out, bringing out a video in relation to Odegaard's injury and what it could mean, and Wanyeri and Eze. So there's always content and more content. But obviously, on that note, people, most importantly, you lot stay safe, stay blessed. Link up again soon, man. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, follow on the socials, everything's in the description. Peace.